Alright, so what is the best way to save someone that's being camped in endgame? With endgame I'm talking about from the moment where the generators get done, whether the gates are open or not. The anti-camp makes camping a horrible strategy during the entirety of the game, but as soon as the gates get powered, that goes away. Which is why during endgame camping suddenly becomes such a good strategy, and not only that, it's probably the only thing a killer can really do at that point to secure a kill, which is why we see it so often. Fortunately though, aside from a few exceptions, the killer can't really do anything to stop you from saving, but only if you know the proper way to save, because otherwise situations like these are going to happen. I think the number one mistake that people make is just going in for trades. They run to the hook, they save without anybody else around, and the killer is just gonna 2-hit you then, and maybe the unhooked person gets away, but at the very least you're gonna get hooked and now someone else is in the situation and you just have a reset happening. So not that you only not gain anything from this situation, you also have an extra person injured now, the killer has an extra hook, and in the worst case scenario if the gates are open, you have less time to save now before you all end up dying to the endgame collapse. So then if trading isn't an option, what is the right way to save? Let's say that your best buddy is being chased, so you do the final generator, sprint to the gate with your adrenaline, open it, but then at the last second your buddy gets downed and gets thrown in the hook. And since the killer doesn't really know what else to do because the gates are open, he just stands there next to the hook, camps your best buddy. At this point, the first thing you should look at is who you're facing. Because if this guy that's camping your best buddy is a Bubba, then there's pretty much no reason to go for a save. If you're stubborn and do attempt to go for the save, most likely he's just gonna chainsaw you both and you're worse off than you were before. That said, I also think that Bubba is the only killer that can reliably get advantage from camping instead of just getting the single kill. Besides just Bubba, there's also some other killers that can make saving against them quite tricky. These are killers that can either insta-down you or get very rapid hits like Huntress and Trickster. Because again, if you're stubborn and you go for a save against a camping Billy, then all that's gonna happen, if you even get the save, is you're gonna get downed and thrown in the hook instead of your friend. This also goes for Myers, Oni, and Ghostface, but only when they're in their power, so as long as Myers doesn't have his infinite tier 3, if you have enough time, try to wait it out and heal in the meantime. Okay, but what then? It isn't one of the insta-down killers and your friend is still being camped. The next best thing to do is to make sure that you're all healed up. If you're in a survive with friends, just pick a location and heal there, but if you're in solo queue, it's most likely the best idea to go to the gate to heal up there because everyone goes there anyways. This also means that if you're against someone like a Plague or a Wesker, make sure that you're fully healed, so go cleanse or make sure that your infection isn't red. The reason we do this is because when we want to save, we make use of the ability to get hit twice. Whether you're just going there for a trade or you actually want to all get out, you need to be able to take at least one hit. Because let's say you just want to trade, right? What's going to happen is you're going to run to the hook, you're going to take a hit, and the killer is going to have this cooldown animation where they wipe their weapon or they show it off, whatever they like to do. During that cooldown animation, you have a few seconds to do something, whether that's to run away or to save your friend, but as soon as those few seconds are up, they have the ability again to hit someone else. If you're just going in for a trade, that someone is probably going to be you. But I would say never ever just trade when there's someone else still alive, because as long as the gates aren't too far away and you have at least 2 people that are still able to save the person that's on the hook, unless the killer is an insta-down killer, or maybe arguably Huntress or Trickster, there's literally nothing the killer can do in that situation to get a kill. So now that you've made sure that it isn't a Bubba or another insta-down killer and you're all healed up with at least one other person, it's time to make your way to the hook. Timing is very important here. Don't run ahead, don't get hit by the killer while you're not ready. Make sure that you're going together with this other person or these 2 other people. The more people, the easier it will be. Just like I said before, we're gonna take advantage of the cooldown that the killer has when they hit someone. So normally when you trade, you get hit, you use the cooldown animation to quickly save your friend before you get hit again, your friend runs away and you get put on the hook. But now when you have the advantage of there being more people around you, instead of the person that got hit taking advantage of the cooldown animation and saving your friend, now the other healthy person can make use of that cooldown animation to save while you, the injured person, runs away. Like I said before, if the gate isn't too far away, you get to make it out easily. The killer is wiping their weapon and you make your way to the gate. So now the killer has 2 options, right? They can either hit the person that just unhooked, but they're healthy, so they're also going to be able to run away with the speed boost. Or they hit the person that got unhooked, but they have endurance, so they're also going to just run away. If the gates are just too far away, I think the best option that the killer has is to not hit at all and just run after the person who just got unhooked and wait until their borrowed time runs out. Fortunately, like we just talked about, you're gonna have a healthy survivor running around who can then body block. Potentially a nurse who can just blink super fast. If the gates are too far away, they can do something about it. I'd say Trickster, if he's in his main event where he throws his knife super fast and he times it right, he can probably get it down as well. Same with Huntress, if the gates are just a little bit too far away. But if you do this one simple thing that I just told you about, it's gonna be really difficult for them to still get a kill unless they play perfectly. For the rest of the cast of killers, it's literally impossible if you do this right. Lastly, there's two more situations which makes this slightly different. Firstly, what if your friend gets hooked, right? Endgame. And then boom, no-ed. Fortunately, ever since no-ed got nerfed quite a while ago, it's actually quite possible to save and you don't have to leave immediately like we had to do before. Until no-ed gets cleansed, I would absolutely make sure to treat whoever the killer is, even if it's a simple wraith camping the hook, as if they're a Bubba. Because what's gonna happen is if you attempt to save, you won't even be able to trade if they're camping properly. You're gonna attempt to save, they're gonna see you, so before you can even get your friend off the hook, you're gonna be down on the ground. Again, the more people are alive in this situation, the better. Since it's now possible to see the aura of no-ed, just run around the map until you find it. Hopefully you have enough time to end find it and heal if you're still injured at this point, but once you cleanse it, if you have enough time, just do the thing I described before and it should be easy. That said, there are some unfortunate scenarios where either no-ed just spawns next to the survivor that's being camped, or if the killer is smart, they'll hook the person next to no-ed, and in that situation there's just nothing you can do about it. Then it turns into a scenario where it's just like old no-ed and you should leave because you can't get a save, and the only thing that's gonna happen is you're gonna give the killer more kills. Now for the very last situation, what do you do if your friend's being camped in a basement during endgame? Most of the time in this situation, if you're facing a killer who at least knows a little bit what they're doing, it will literally be impossible to get away with everyone. Doesn't even need to be an insta-down killer, doesn't even need to be someone like Trickster or Huntress, even though they probably make it even more impossible. Could be literally a pig. Because again, what's going to happen is if they're smart, they're not going to camp down in the basement, they're gonna stand on top of the stairs and then they're gonna hit someone right on top of the stairs. So where normally someone else would go in and grab and quickly run away, there's so much distance between the spot where you have to go through and the hook that you can reliably take advantage of the hit cooldown and run all the way downstairs into the basement before the killer can hit you again. This will probably often result in someone getting hit, running away, then the other person running down to the basement, probably getting hit again before they can save, and so basically just trading. If the killer messes up or you have the perfect body blocks, it is possible to still get away with everyone, but I would not bank on it. Unless you're just a fan of very risky plays, it can be fun to do, but just expect someone else to die besides the person being camped. Anyways, if you're interested in more of my content, make sure to check out the video in the end card, and as always, have a wonderful day.